Today, we'll talk about which are the 5 best picks, how to choose the correct product, and what you should look at before buying. We've ranked these products based on their price, quality, durability, performance, and more. If you'd like to see their price and find out more information, you can check out the links in the description down below. Let's get started. Next up, we have a model which gives you the best value for your money.
Number 5. NZXT H510. The NZXT range is by far one of my all-time favourites. They've always put themselves at the cutting edge of the PC case market. From the old-school Phantom series that every high-end PC gamer had to have 10 years ago, now we're up to the H series, which features ultra-clean lines, integrated smart features, modular hardware, and a range of designs giving you a choice of colours, as well as a choice of a standard, smart, or elite variant. There's the NZXT H510, which for lack of a better word is the base model. However, it's still very much a premium case in its own right. Then you also have the H510i, which comes with their smart fan control system built in. The current trend of RGB lighting and tempered glass panels makes it obvious that many people like to showcase their system builds. NZXT's H510 Elite is just that, a showcase, pardon the pun, that puts your system on display and includes everything an enthusiast could ask for. The NZXT H510 Elite exterior shares many features with other H-series cases, but has the notable addition of a tempered glass front panel, smaller front I/O area, and RGB lit fans. The interior of this chassis is virtually identical to the H510, H500i, and others, which is a good thing. The hard drive racks are hidden, there are no optical drive bays, and the intake fans are tucked out of the way in the company's trademarked cable management bar that spans from the top of the main compartment to the top of the PSU compartment. Alternatively, the two 2.5-inch plastic drive caddies can be mounted to the top of the PSU tunnel. There are mounting locations for up to 4 120mm fans, 2 in the front, 1 in the top panel, and a single rear. Alternatively, the H510 Elite can be equipped with 3 140mm fans, 2 in the front and 1 in the top. The case ships by default with 2 140mm RGB intake and a standard 120mm exhaust fan. The removable fan radiator bracket in the front of the chassis makes the process of installing radiators and all-in-one coolers in this area painless. When all is said and done, the NZXT H510 Elite is a great chassis with all the features you could want in a premium compact mid-tower ATX case. Good thermal and acoustic performance, tempered glass, RGB lighting, USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C, and a stylish design.
If quality is your main focus, then you should consider this next model, because it has the best build quality.
Number 4. Phanteks Eclipse P400A. Phanteks has an ever-increasing portfolio in the division of PC cooling. Their journey began with a renowned PHTC14PE CPU cooler and has expanded into the design and manufacture of some of the most popular computer cases to grace the market. Overall, the roof space and the removable radiator bracket was removed. The front panel was now a thick, solid unit with ventilation only located top and bottom. The paint job was far more basic and the aluminium panels absent entirely compared to that of the Phanteks Evolve. Since then, we've seen the Eclipse lineup expand and cater to almost all segments of the price spectrum, while still retaining that overall clean, sharp aesthetic look with various improvements and new models along the way. With the P300 and P350X aimed at the budget end of the market, the more premium P400S appealing to those looking for the original Eclipse with sound dampening and a fan controller, and of course the latest, the P600S, being a complete redesign of the styling and featuring the new Evolve X internal frame and layout. The P400A comes in 2 main variants, each with 2 separate colour SKUs, black or white. The first, the P400A DRGB model, includes 3 Phanteks DRGB case fans, controlled either via internal USB motherboard connector or an integrated RGB controller embedded into the front I/O. That's not necessarily a bad thing. There's plenty of cable management grommets and holes located in all the key places for all of your cables, and support straight out of the gate for 2x2.5-inch drives and 2x3.5-inch drives. Unlike the Evolve, and despite its name, the Eclipse P400A actually supports less cooling than we'd like it to. Additionally, if you do decide to run 140mm fans in the roof, that does reduce the overall space you have to run the cables. With the last piece of hardware installed, we move on to our PSU. The airflow improvements are certainly there. You'll have no worry when it comes to that front intake performance anymore, and it looks better too than the original Phanteks Eclipse P400.
Next up, we have the highest end model that you can get your hands on. It costs more than the rest, but it does do its job extremely well.
Number 3. Fractal Design Meshify C. Fractal's naming system is getting a little cluttered. The Meshify C is 100% a Define C TG with an angular stealth-inspired front panel that looks like black diamond facets, according to Fractal. It's a cool look and it breaks away from the current trend of plain flat front panels in a way that's reminiscent of the Corsair Spec 04. The power button of our Define C was a little sticky after being in storage, and its LED had a broken wire, neither of which was a problem in the Meshify. Maybe that's why they changed it. The blue power and HDD LEDs are next to each other, subtly hidden behind the front mesh. Fractal Design built its reputation with high-quality mid-price cases, shocking the industry when it later introduced lightweight models at reduced prices. The solid front panel used in previous designs reflected some internal component noise back into the case, so your new build might be a little noisier. Yet we're no longer forcing the intake fans to draw air through thin slots on the sides of the front panel, so your new build might also be a little cooler. Front panel connections at the top include just 2 USB 3.0 headers, headphone and microphone jacks along with power and reset buttons. The mesh top panel cover behind it is affixed via magnetic strips. The Meshify C includes separate screw packs for the motherboard and drives, cable ties, standoffs, a Phillips head adapter socket to help builders install the standoffs, as well as documentation and a cleaning cloth. The Define C, for example, doesn't have a tempered glass side panel, so buyers trying to decide between the S340 Elite and Meshify C probably aren't even considering the elder product. The S340 Elite has more ports, an HDMI pass-through and 2 USB 2.0s, a magnetic headphone hanger and a steel face panel skin to allow the headphone hanger to be stuck on the front. However, the Meshify C has better radiator support. If you want one of the most premium looking and performing PC cases, you should definitely check this one out.
Before we talk about the best model overall, let's look at the runner-up for this list.
Number 2. Cooler Master MB311L. The Masterbox MB311L ARGB is a micro ATX airflow PC case pre-installed with 2 ARGB fans and made to be built with the latest gaming hardware. The front panel's facade is made entirely of fine mesh, placed between 2 honeycomb vents on either side to maximise airflow. Since running the latest games smoothly means keeping the latest hardware efficiently cooled, top panel ventilation offers the option to add even more cooling hardware. If nothing is mounted, the top panel acts as passive ventilation. The internal layout was engineered for a high compatibility for the latest gaming hardware while also accounting for future upgrades. Following in the principles of the award-winning MB series, versatility is paired with presentation to ensure that any gaming system built inside the Masterbox MB311L ARGB looks as good as it performs. Cable management in the Masterbox MB311L ARGB case is pretty straightforward. There are cutouts in all the standard places you'd expect them to be. There is, however, no GPU 6 or 8-pin connector cutout, as this is where Cooler Master has placed a couple of mounting locations for 2.5-inch SATA drives. Cooling in the Masterbox MB311L ARGB case is one of the key selling points to this case, so how does it fare? Overall, I'd say it performs as advertised. The Cooler Master Masterbox MB311L ARGB case is a great affordable option that'll look great as well as offer plenty of cooling and build options, especially if you're willing to add one fan either at the rear or the top of the case. Alternatively, you could move one of the front fans to the rear or the top of the case.
Finally, the next model is the best overall. From us, it gets a perfect score in all categories.
Number 1. Dark Flash Micro ATX Mini. This compact case supports only up to MATX motherboards. Even though it's pegged as a luxury by the brand, it falls square into the budget category. Its claim to fame is the hinged door panel with tempered glass. Other features include toolless design, good fan support and sleek minimal looks. It does look premium, to be honest. As the front panel cannot be removed, you'll only be removing the 2 side panels, both of which are quite easy to get off. The glass door will slide out of its hinge. The metal side panel is held in place by 2 plastic thumb screws. It's a 3-second job to reach the insides of the case. Around the centre is the obvious mount for the motherboard. Only MATX and MITX Mobos are supported. To the right of this mount is the space to mount 2 2.5-inch SSDs. You'll need a screwdriver for doing this. Once you install your motherboard, you'll want to move on to extensions and GPU. The extension slots are, well, cheap. If you pop the covers out, you cannot get them back in, not without some hot glue. Plan ahead before popping any slot. In terms of fans, the Dark Flash Micro ATX has space for up to 5. You can install 2 120mm units on the front or a 240mm AIO. Frankly, we'd recommend against a water cooler in the front. If you have a massive GPU, it'll be a very tight fit. You'll likely want to fit a 120mm fan at the rear too. Door opening side panel with magnetic design is easy to disassemble and tool-free. The black side glass shows the light effect in a low-profile way. Meanwhile, the overall tempered glass design makes the inner view of the chassis broad. It could install 120mm by 2 or 140mm by 2 air coolers and 240mm water cooler, making more options for users. The USB 3.0 is particularly handy for people looking for high-speed transmission efficiency. A combination of a fan and air cooler should enhance this case's cooling capabilities and leave adequate space for cable management. It really is one of the best in the market, without a doubt. Buying guide. Firstly, size. Before anything else, decide what size case you need. There are 3 major case sizes: full tower, mid tower and mini ITX. Full tower and mid tower cases both fit standard ATX motherboards, by far the most common motherboard size out there. Both can also fit smaller micro ATX motherboards. Exact sizing varies from case to case, but most mid-towers can run roughly 18 inches high and 8 or so inches wide. Mid-tower PCs are probably the more common form factor and have enough room to fit systems with a closed-loop CPU cooler, a couple of graphics cards and a lot of storage. Mini ITX cases are the polar opposite of full-tower PC cases, built for diminutive mini ITX motherboards. Secondly, aesthetics. Make sure you like the look of the PC case you're buying. You're going to be staring at it for years to come, so this is not a superficial consideration. Every online retailer shows PC cases from multiple angles on their storage pages, so there's no excuse for buying ugly. PC cases come in all sorts of colours, materials and designs. And thirdly, PSU. There are cases out there that ship together with a power supply unit, but while it may be tempting to get one such case and save a few bucks on a power supply, it may not be a good idea. The PSU is one of the essential components of any PC, and if you're investing any serious amount of money in a gaming setup, you'll want to make sure that you've got an adequate power supply. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you found it helpful, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. If you have any questions related to these products, you can leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.